Little House in the Village, Part 2. By the third night, the house no longer pretended. The moment the sun went down, the air changed. It thickened, darkened, as if someone had dipped the whole room into the cold black water. The lamp flickered twice before dying. The floorboards groaned like old bones being asked to carry too much weight. And the silence felt alive. Grandmother didn't need that evening, didn't pray, didn't even move. She sat in her chair, hands clasped together, staring at the door as if waiting for a verdict. "Tonight," she whispered, "don't speak, no matter what you hear." Her voice was barely a breath, especially if it sounds like me. She blew out the last candle. The darkness folded around us like a second set of walls. It began with footsteps, but not like before. No circling, not testing. This time approaching, heavy, slow, deliberate, as if something was walking on too many legs or none at all. The steps came to the porch, stopped, then shifted to the side of the house, to the window behind us, then to the other, then to the back door. It moved around the house the way a tongue moves around teeth, testing for a weak spot. Then came the knocking, everywhere, on the porch door, on the kitchen wall, on the window frame, slow, patient, rhythmic, like someone tapping a message across different surfaces of the house at the same time. Grandmother pressed a finger to her lips. Her breathing stopped. Mine tried to. The knocking grew bolder, sharper. At one point, it sounded like nails scratching down the wood right behind my back. The whole house felt thin, as if the walls were made of paper, and something huge was pushing its face right up against them from the other side. Then a voice, not loud, not harsh, soft, almost tender. "Grandma." My blood turned to ice. The voice sounded exactly like me, but it spoke from outside, right beneath the window again. "Grandma, open the door." Grandmother trembled violently, and in that trembling I realized something terrible. This had happened before. She recognized the trick. She feared the voice because she had heard it once long ago, and opened the door. The voice moved to the back wall, then to the porch, then right beside the attic. Each time my voice, calling her name, calling hers, calling mine, wanting an answer, needing an answer, because an answered voice is an invited one. And then a whisper directly at the door, so close it felt like breath brushing my cheek. "Let me in." But it wasn't my voice anymore, not fully. Something else had begun to speak through, stretching my tone into something long, thin, and hungry. Grandmother suddenly grabbed my wrist with the same strength as before, but this time she whispered one sentence that chilled the air around us deeper than winter. "It remembers you. Just stay alive till morning." The knocking stopped just before dawn. Not at once, like something that was outside remembered something more important than we do. The house exhaled, the wood relaxed, the walls thickened again, as if the night had folded itself back into the trees. But Grandmother didn't move. She sat in her chair, hands clasped, eyes hollow. Only when the first ray of sunlight touched the door did she become herself again. Morning tea cooled between us. She stirred it absently, but didn't drink. Her silence was heavier than anything we'd heard in the dark. At last, I asked the question that had been tightening in my chest in the attic. "Who was that boy in the photo?" Grandmother closed her eyes for a long, long moment. When she spoke, her voice had lost all strength. "He was your uncle." I froze. "Mom had a brother?" She nodded slowly, painfully. "He was born here, in this house. He watched the forest the same way you did, too long, too carefully, as if someone out there was whispering his name." She pressed her palms flat on the table, steadying herself. At first, I thought he was just a dreamer, a quiet child, a child with an imagination. Her breath shivered, but I was wrong. I swallowed. What happened? Grandmother's eyes drifted toward the window, toward the tree line, then seeing trembling water between the world and the other. "One night," she whispered, "he walked out of the house." My voice cracked. "You left the door open?" "No." he whispered sharply. The door was locked, bolted, crossed. A pause, a tremor. But he left anyway. The house creaked softly. The house opened for him. Cold lines slid down her spine. And then, Grandmother didn't look at me. She kept staring at the forest, at the shadows between the branches where morning light never fully reached. We found him at sunrise, she said softly, just outside the tree line. Her voice thin. He was standing, alive, smiling, as if nothing had happened. I exhaled shakily. That's good, isn't it? He came back. Grandmother shook her head, her fingers dug into the wooden table. He came back, but it wasn't him anymore. He came back, Grandmother repeated, her voice barely steady, but the child who stepped out of the forest was not the one I put to bed the night before. She looked down at the trembling hands as if remembering their weight on a such smaller body. He looked the same, he sounded the same, even laughed the same at first. Her breath caught, but his eyes, they were wrong. I waited, the silence stretched thing. How? I whispered. They stopped blinking, she said. Stop following the light. He stared at things people don't see. Corners, doorways, places where the house breathes. She lifted her gaze to mine, and in her eyes I saw the kind of fear that doesn't fade with age. He started waking at night, standing in the hallway, facing the forest every night, closer to the door. I felt the air around us tighten, as if the house liked the story, as if it had been waiting for someone to tell it aloud again. What did he say? I asked. Grandmother shivered. That he had friends now. A cold pulse crawled up my neck. Friends? She nodded slowly. In the tree line, where the dark is the sickest. He said they were calling him. I stepped away from the table without realizing it. The wooden floor groaned beneath me, the same groan I'd heard at night. And then, Grandmother pressed the photograph against her chest, tightly, as if afraid it might crawl away. One morning, she said, he didn't come back. Her voice cracked at the end, breaking like thin ice. We found the door open, wide open, as if the house itself was letting him go home. She looked at me, and her eyes were filled with 20 years of silent grief. We never saw him again. A long silence, only the house breathed. Then Grandmother whispered, "Now it remembers you the way it remembered him." The first night didn't begin with sunsets. It became long before the light was gone. By late afternoon, the air inside the house turned dense, humid, almost warm, as if something was breathing from the walls. Grandmother moved quietly, avoiding shadows, closing every curtain, every latch, every drawer, as if anything left open would be an invitation. She wouldn't look at me, not directly, not anymore. Fear does that, it bends the gaze. As dusk approached, the lamp flickered. Each one died without a sound. The house dimmed to a deep, smoky grey, a twilight that didn't match the sky outside. I swallowed. "Grandma, what happens tonight?" She touched my face briefly, her fingers trembling. "Just stay close. If it calls you, don't answer." I nodded, but inside my heartbeat was already slipping into the rhythm of fear. Night fell, and with it a presence. Not footsteps, not knocking, not even whispering. Simply being, as if the space behind the walls filled with someone standing there, motionless, listening. The first sound was a soft crack in the ceiling above my bed, a gentle shift like weight settling. Then another near the corner of the room, then another by the chimney. 3 points, 3 places, as if something with more than 2 hands was testing the house from the inside. I grabbed my grandmother's arm. She didn't look at me. Her eyes were fixed on the front door, wide and glistering. "It's closer tonight," she whispered. "It wants to see you." My breath froze. "Why me?" Her answer made the house seem colder than winter. "Because you looked at it." The walls shivered, the floorboard tightened, something moved directly beneath us, slowly, heavy, dragging, as if crawling from under the foundation, pressing upward, searching for a thin spot in the wood. Dust fell from the seams between the planks, a soft train of powdered age. Then, from beneath the floor, a whisper. Not loud, not bleeding, just sudden. Come down. My own voice, perfectly imitated, soft, patient, hungry. Grandmother grabbed my wrist so hard it hurt. Don't listen, she breathed. The more you hear it, the more it knows you. But I already heard it, too clearly, too deeply, and the house knew it too. The boards under my feet vibrated, a low, trembling hum like a throat learning to speak. The whisper rose again, cutting through the gasps in the wood like smoke made of breath. You opened the window for me once. My heart dropped. I didn't remember that. I didn't want to remember that, but the house never forgets. Grandmother squeezed my hand, pulling me back from the floor, as if it might open beneath us. We must last till dawn, she whispered, her voice shaking. It's the only hour it cannot touch. Outside, the forest leaned closer, or maybe the darkness did, and inside, the house waited. So did the thing that whispered with my voice. By midnight, the house began to breathe, not metaphorically, not in the way old buildings settle. This was deeper, slower, a full-bodied inhale that made the walls expand and the floor tremble, as if lungs were hidden somewhere beneath us. With every breath, the air grew warmer, thicker, closer, like something unseen was pressing its face against the walls from the inside. Grandmother held my hand, but even her grip couldn't anchor me, because the breathing was syncing with mine. At first, I thought it was coincidence. But then, I stopped, held my breath, and for one terrifying moment the house held its breath too. As if waiting, listening, matching, I whispered, Grandma, it's copying me. Her face went pale, white as the morning frost. It's not copying, she breathed, it's choosing. A soft sound rose from the floor boards, a hum, no, a vibration, as if a voice was forming beneath the wood, and then my name, whispered, drawn out, sting as a threat. Come here. The same tone as mine, but wrong, like a version of me that lives somewhere dark and hungry. I froze. My ribcage tightened, my breath shuddered, and the house breathed with me. In, out, trying to think, trying to sink, trying to enter. Grandmother yanked me back. Her voice shook. Don't let it take a breath. That's how it enters, through breath, through memory, through anything you share. But it was too late, because when I exhaled, I felt the second breath pull into me. Something cold, thin, shivering, like air from the deepest part of the forest had slid into my lungs. I staggered, my knees nearly buckled. The whisper rose again, now inside my head, coiled around my heartbeat. You left the window open for me once. Leave the door open now. I clutched my chest. No, I did not. But a voice inside laughed softly with my laugh. The house groaned, not with age, with anticipation. It wanted me to answer the voice, to acknowledge it, to open the space, a crack, a moment, anything. Grandmother pulled me back against her, her voice low, fiery, trembling. Don't speak, don't breathe its name, don't look at the walls, just hold until dawn. But dawn was out the way, and the thing breathing with me knew it. The house grew quieter after the breathing stopped. Not safer, just quieter, like a predator settling into the grass, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I could feel it behind the silence, a presence, a pressure, a thought that wasn't mine. It was searching, reaching, turning pages inside my head as if my memories were doors it could open. At first, it was little things, a lullaby my mother used to hum, the metallic taste of cold milk from childhood, the smell of pine sap on my fingers the summer I first climbed the tree. Small memories, innocent memories. Then, the memory of a door. I inhaled sharply. Grandmother looked up. She knew, she felt it too. What is it showing you? She whispered. I swallowed. My old bedroom door from when I was 3, but why? Her face went white. because that was the first time you opened something that should have been opened. The memory sharpened like a knife passed to my throat. I saw myself, small and steady, standing in front of the door in this very house. With mother sleeping, mother asleep beside me, the hallway dark, the force breathing through the window, as the door in front of me is sliding open without a sound. Not pushed, not pulled, just opening, as if something on the other side had been waiting for me to touch it. I whispered, "I didn't open it, right?" The voice inside me answered, "You did." My heartbeat stumbled, my breath faltered, and the walls leaned closer, listening. With mother, with my hands, her voice was a trembling thread. It wants you to believe the memory. If you accept it, that's how it enters. It becomes truth through you. But the memory kept playing, clear, detailed, too real. A tiny hand reaching out, a crack of warm air sliding through the dark, a shape bent and waiting just beyond the threshold. Tall and crooked, like a shadow learning how to stand. And mother's voice pulled me back. Don't follow the memory. Don't let it finish. But it was too late, because in the memory I heard a whisper, my whisper. Let me in. I gasped. The house shuddered. The door rattled as through, though something outside heard my breath and recognized it. Then a quiet knock. Once, twice, a third time. Slow, certain, patient. Exactly the rhythm from the memory. The thing outside had found the door, and now it waited for the child I used to be to open it.